Hey guys, it's Transformation Coach Shan Crawford, and today we're going to talk about generational cycles. So, the other day I was watching this movie called Surviving Compton, Dre, Suge, and Michel'le. And so basically, this movie was about the woman's side of the story who dealt with Dr. Dre and Suge Knight, which, if you're not familiar, these are like music producers, like big time music producers. And Michel'le was a singer, a very young 16, 17-year-old, I believe, is when this all kind of started. And she started this relationship with Dr. Dre. And for those of you who do know who that is, it kind of showed this other picture of what kind of person he is and how he was abusive to Michel'le in the relationship in several ways, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. He hit her, and I'm sorry, I should have given you guys like a trigger warning, but I'll put one in the title so you guys know. He hit her, like full blown socked her in the eye, and then later on when she had a relationship with Suge Knight, he also hit her, displaced her jaw, her nose was broken a few times, and I think she had a broken rib. And they were really showing how, as she was growing up, where she came from in Compton, her grandmother would give her advice, and people around her would just kind of tell her, that it's normal to be in a relationship and to receive some type of abuse from a man. And it didn't help that Dr. Dre had a lot of money, a lot of status, and that can be a factor that can keep people around a lot longer and have them put up with so much more than the average person would put up with. And so I wish that you could see the brutality basically that happened in that movie. If you can stomach it, you should watch that movie. It's a really good movie. But I wanted to talk about this because I was interested in her story and watched some of the interviews that she did following the movie, and how people wanted to know a little bit more about her story. And one thing that she kept saying over and over again was that this was normal. This is normal. This is, the advice that I took from the women that were in my life were, this is kind of a paycheck for, this is the job that you are doing in order for you to get the benefits, which is, the husband or the marriage or having this big time or status partner. So if you have to deal with that in order for you to have this man in your life, then just deal with it as much as you possibly can. And that led her to abusing drugs, substance abuse, having to go to rehab, having to leave her child with her mother as she was going through that. And I wanted to talk about that because there are so many things, not just abuse, that are so unhealthy for us, that are so toxic, that damage us. And we get the same message that it's normal, or that we just have to put up with it. This is just a part of life. These are the cards that were dealt. And I can say that I've experienced this as well. But I have been set apart from the pack. And I refuse to take on the status quo or how things have been or what has happened in the past and accept it as normal if it's something that is damaging to me, something that hurts me, or something that's toxic or unhealthy for me. And that is what I wanted to touch on and talk about this for, because we will have abuse going on, toxicity going on in our family, passed down through the generations, through our family members, through our siblings. We're all fucked up in a sense, and we just say, we're all dysfunctional, or this is what all of our family members have to go through. This is something that it's normal in this family. And just because it's normal doesn't mean that you should be accepting this as a part of your life. You should want to evolve beyond what has been normal before. If it's not healthy for you, or if it has hurt you or is hurting your kids or will hurt the next generation in some way, you should not take or accept those things. So I wanted to speak specifically to those out there who are dealing with things like this, like abuse, toxicity, self-sabotage, others sabotaging them, being dealt these cards in life that are harmful or damaging to us, and accepting that as something that's normal. And I want you to challenge yourself to do something different, step outside of your comfort zone and step outside of the status quo, and stop accepting what has been as normal, and stop accepting things that are damaging to you and the people that you love, because everyone else has been doing that. You should be the one that changes that cycle and stops that cycle where it is, so that your children have better, so that the people that you love and that are around you stop being hurt by that as well, and are inspired by you or are influenced by you, to stop accepting the same damaging circumstances to their lives as well as yours. I have had an abusive relationship myself. I've been married before where the person put their hands on me. And that happened 3 times, and I left that marriage because I refused to accept that this is how I should be treated, regardless of how much I love you, regardless of how much you are damaged as a person yourself, regardless of if the other person is dealing with things. And that's something that we often have as a factor that makes us stay in relationships or accept behavior like this. We'll see that the other person is hurting, or that the other person is only hurting others because they were hurt themselves. But guess what? You're turning into that person as well when you carry on and accept that behavior as normal or as something that you should put up with, because you, being the one that's hurt, accepting someone hurting you is toxic, it's damaging, it's unhealthy, and it gets passed on through the generations, and it also affects your relationships with other people, and can hurt other people as well if you don't do anything about it, or if you don't stop the cycle from continuing. Because there are ways that we hurt other people that we don't intend to, like not being able to be intimate with others, or to get close to people, or to accept healthy love, because we're so used to accepting unhealthy and damaging and toxic love, right? And then passing that on to our children or the next generation, because they see you and what you accept and think that that's what they should accept as well. And now you see them being hurt and damaged, and their lives repeating the same cycles. So now you become the person that was hurt, that is hurting other people because you were hurt. And this is something that I can understand and I can empathize with, because I have been in that situation where I have seen that this other person is only hurting others because they were hurt. Like how they say bullies, they get bullied at home and then they bully people at school to have some sense of control, or because they learned that that's the kind of behavior that a person has, that's the way that they should behave themselves. And oh, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say that can sometimes be in that situation where we have empathy for another person because they were hurt and understand why they're hurting other people, but that doesn't mean that you have to accept that person hurting you or accept them being damaging to your life or having unhealthy behaviors that are hurtful to you. So I left that relationship because I wanted to stop that cycle. It's been something that my family has dealt with over generations, and I don't necessarily blame them for taking on that and accepting that that is normal, because sometimes we don't know any better. But when we do learn better, when we do know better, we should do better, and we should be challenging ourselves to have better for ourselves, our lives, and for the next generation, so that what the things that have messed us up today are not the same things that are messing our children up, or are not things that are messing up other relationships in our lives. There's so many also marriages that or partnerships that become tainted and toxic and damaging and unhealthy because we are repeating or accepting those behaviors that have been unhealthy for us over the generations, and that we've learned from our family members and our ancestors. So I just wanted to touch on that today because, for one, that movie really touched me, but two, it inspired me to want to talk about that today for those of you who deal with that and need some encouragement on not putting up with those kinds of things and stopping these generational cycles that are hurtful to you and your family and your loved ones in its tracks today. And if that's something that you know that you should be doing, stopping this generational cycle, and something that you would like help with, that's something that I can work with you on as well. You can book a session with me, a first free session. I'll put the link around this video somewhere. Or you can also email me if you have questions at Shan, like Jackie Chan, CHAN, at beautyofgrowth.com. And we can get this sorted out for you, because you deserve to have a better life than those that have come before you and have accepted those things, and those things have damaged their lives. Not that they don't deserve to have a better life too, they do as well. But if the generational cycle is continuing on to you, they haven't stopped it, and it should stop here. So get help for yourself. Definitely address that. Challenge yourself to evolve, to be better for you and for those to come after you. And like I said, if you want to book a session with me as a life transformation coach, the site will be somewhere around this video, or you can email me at shan@beautyofgrowth.com. All right, so I will see you in another video, and thanks for listening. Have a good day.